was the fall of the mighty billionaire, it would undoubtedly be Anil Ambani. Let's now first begin with the latest with the three Chinese banks, namely
Imagine losing 99.9% of your net worth in one day, going from having almost anything money can buy to struggling to pay your basic bills. Sounds like a nightmare, right? Well, that's exactly what happened to Indian tycoon Anil Ambani, once the sixth richest person in the world with a staggering net worth of $42 billion. Anil Ambani is now facing bankruptcy and lawsuits over unpaid debts. His empire, which once spanned telecom, infrastructure, finance, and more, has crumbled. So how did it all go so wrong? How did he fall from the ranks of the mega-rich to fighting in court over missing salary payments for his household staff? It's an almost unbelievable tale of dizzying success, followed by a long, slow descent into financial ruin. Born into one of India's wealthiest families, Anil had the business world laid out before him on a silver platter. But a bitter feud with his brother over inheritance of their father's vast Reliance empire would set the stage for Anil's undoing. Ride along through the story of dizzying highs, crushing lows, family drama, shady deals, corruption allegations, and more. It's a cautionary tale of how even the biggest personal fortunes can be lost through huge debts and reckless overexpansion. The Ambani downfall shows that no amount of wealth can shield you from mismanagement. Let's dig into the jaw-dropping journey that led a tycoon with a private jet fleet to end up billions in the red. In 2007, Anil Ambani was on top of the world. With a net worth of $42 billion, he was the sixth richest person on the planet. He lived a life of unbelievable luxury that only a handful could imagine. The Indian businessman was chairman of Reliance Group, one of India's largest corporate empires. He had inherited and grown a telecom, infrastructure and financial services conglomerate that generated billions in revenue across sectors. His wealth rivaled renowned global billionaires like Warren Buffett and Lakshmi Mittal. When he walked into a room, politicians, celebrities, and CEOs all wanted to meet him. With a sprawling mansion in Mumbai, a fleet of private jets, and his pick of luxury vehicles, Anil Ambani enjoyed the kind of lifestyle only the mega ultra-wealthy can afford. He was India's most successful tycoon at the time. Everything Anil touched turned to gold. His empire was still ascending and his personal net worth growing. No one could predict what was coming in the next few years. He seemed unstoppable. At its peak, analysts estimated Anil Ambani's total net worth was $42 billion. When including stakes in all Reliance Group assets, he had built on his family's already substantial wealth to join the elite ranks of the world's richest. But an empire built on towering debt and breakneck expansion was fragile, and Anil Ambani was about to face a breathtaking downfall. But here is the thing. Anil Ambani's meteoric rise began in 2005, when he and his brother Mukesh Ambani split up the sprawling Reliance business empire built by their father, Dhirubhai Ambani. The brothers had been feuding over control of the conglomerate after their father's death in 2002. To resolve the dispute, they divided the assets into two new entities. You see, Anil took hold of Reliance Group, which included the company's telecom, entertainment, financial services, and infrastructure arms. He was determined to rapidly expand each of these businesses. Fueled by easy credit in India at the time, Anil went on an aggressive growth spree across his industries. He diversified into new sectors and acquired assets at a breakneck pace. In telecom, Anil led Reliance Communications in an ambitious national network rollout. By 2008, it had become India's second-largest telecom company with over 100 million subscribers. The group's entertainment division also pursued high-profile acquisitions, such as a 50% stake in Hollywood studio DreamWorks. Anil was building an empire to rival his brothers. By 2008, Anil's net worth had skyrocketed to $42 billion on the back of his unbridled expansion. Riding a booming Indian economy, he had become the sixth richest person in the world in just 3 years. From telecom and finance to power and entertainment, Anil had leveraged the businesses he inherited into a sprawling conglomerate. But his meteoric rise had been fueled by massive debt. And the global financial crisis would expose how fragile it all was. Anil Ambani's heavily leveraged empire began crumbling when the global financial crisis struck in 2008. As markets plunged, the value of Reliance Group's shares collapsed by 30% in months. Suddenly, Anil's mountains of debt looked unsustainable. Reliance Communications alone had accumulated over $5 billion in loans by the end of 2008. Interest costs were now untenable. Anil started selling off assets just to make loan payments across his struggling telecom, entertainment, and infrastructure businesses. But debt kept piling up higher. Meanwhile, corruption scandals tarnished the tycoon's image. Government audits accused Reliance Power of undue profits from manipulated gas contracts. Anil denied wrongdoing, but it damaged investor confidence. Anil's flagship, Reliance Communications, fared the worst. India's hyper-competitive telecom industry saw brutal price wars, squeezing margins. Buried in $4 billion of debt, it began missing loan payments. By 2017, Reliance Communications started shutting down its mobile operations piece by piece under creditor pressure. Anil's plan to build a telecom rival to his brother's Jio had failed. As Anil desperately tried to restructure debt and keep assets from lenders, his empire bled billions in value. From its 2008 peak, Reliance Group was now worth less than a quarter of its previous heights, and Anil Ambani was no longer ascending the global rich list, but plummeting down them. By 2016, Anil Ambani's net worth had crashed from a peak of $42 billion to just $3 billion as his empire sank deeper into debt. But even worse was coming. As lenders circled, Anil injected his own personal funds as a lifeline to his companies, but it only delayed the inevitable. By 2018, his net worth was calculated to be in the negative, as personal guarantees on loans worth billions came due. Anil was now buried under a mountain of his own liabilities. In 2019, Anil suffered the ultimate humiliation when a UK court ordered him to pay $717 million to 3 Chinese banks for defaulting on loans. He had personally guaranteed these amounts, and the banks pursued him after his company failed to pay. In India, Anil faced similar woes. Ericsson petitioned Indian courts to recover unpaid dues of $77 million from Reliance Communications. When Anil failed to pay in contempt of court, he narrowly avoided jail time. According to reports, Anil even stopped paying basic utility bills and staff salaries on time as his financial crisis worsened. For a man who once owned a private Airbus jet, it was a stunning fall. Creditors chased Anil as his liabilities ballooned to over $1 billion across cases. Bankruptcy proceedings and asset seizures further eroded his remaining wealth. By 2021, Anil Ambani's reported net worth was an incredible $1.39 billion, making him the world's biggest personal debtor. It was an unthinkable financial ruin for someone once among the richest people in the world. Anil Ambani's catastrophic fall, from billionaire to bankrupt, is an astonishing cautionary tale of poor financial management. His unrestrained, debt-fueled growth left no safety net when crisis hit. While splitting, Reliance created massive wealth on paper, the empire was divided at its peak strength. Anil should have consolidated first before diversifying into new sectors, and the breakneck pace of expansion was clearly reckless in hindsight. When the global recession froze credit markets, over-leveraged empires like Anil's were the most vulnerable. Had he maintained lower debt levels during the boom years, his companies may have withstood the downturn. Anil also concentrated too much of the group's fortunes in the telecom sector alone. Its struggles brought down much of the rest. Diversification should have been more balanced across industries, and he injected his own money as loans or guarantees when funds ran dry. This erased his personal wealth rather than restructuring businesses earlier. Staying detached may have preserved his net worth. Above all, Anil's downfall teaches that no billionaire is immune to sustained financial mismanagement. Even with all the talent and resources money can buy, poor decisions can lead to ruin. So what lessons can investors and entrepreneurs take from Anil Ambani's remarkable reversal? Be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss our next in-depth business profile. Leave your thoughts on Anil's story in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up.